Have you ever wondered what it's like to face a wrongful accusation and fight against prejudice? This video tells the powerful story of Clarice Johnson, who, wrongfully accused of theft, embarked on a journey of resilience and justice. Watch until the end to see how her battle not only proved her innocence, but also sparked a movement for equality and change. If you are not subscribed, I recommend you subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any videos. Clarice Johnson began her day in the familiar rhythm of her well-established routine at the upscale clothing store where she had held the position of manager for over 5 years. Nestled in a prestigious neighborhood of Washington, D.C., the store catered to a discerning clientele with high expectations and a taste for luxury. Clarice was known for her unwavering dedication and exemplary professionalism, traits that had earned her the admiration of her colleagues and the loyalty of her discerning customers. The morning had been bustling with activity. As Clarice busied herself in the back room, meticulously arranging the new collection that had recently arrived, the sounds of the store's vibrant environment filled the air. However, this familiar cadence was abruptly disrupted when she overheard a heated argument emerging from the customer area. Concerned, Clarice swiftly made her way to the scene to assess the situation. Upon reaching the front, she was confronted with a tense and unsettling scene. Miranda Collins, a well-known socialite with a reputation for being both influential and demanding, was accusing a young junior employee of theft. The young employee stood there, clearly distressed and trembling, while Miranda's face was a mask of indignation and condescension. With her characteristic composure, Clarice approached the situation. "What seems to be the problem here, Mrs. Collins?" she asked, her voice calm and measured, aiming to de-escalate the mounting tension. Miranda, with a pronounced air of superiority, directed an accusing finger toward the young employee. "I saw this girl put a piece of clothing into her bag," Miranda declared, her tone sharp and laden with accusation. Clarice observed the young employee's tearful denial and anxious demeanor, which only heightened the gravity of the situation. "Mrs. Collins, I assure you, this must be a misunderstanding," Clarice said, her voice steady as she attempted to address the issue with a level head. "Let's review the security footage to clarify this matter." Despite Clarice's effort to manage the situation diplomatically, Miranda's impatience and disdain were palpable. She met Clarice's gaze with a steely glare and responded with a frosty edge to her voice. "This isn't the first time I've noticed something suspicious happening in this store. As the manager, you are ultimately responsible for these issues," Miranda declared, her arms crossed defensively and her tone carrying an air of unyielding authority. Before Clarice could utter a word, 2 security guards, alerted by the escalating situation, made their way toward her with a sense of urgency. Miranda, however, took everyone by surprise with her next move. Without hesitation, she pointed an accusing finger directly at Clarice. "Maybe you're the one stealing here," Miranda declared, her voice laced with an unmistakable edge of hostility. "It's always the same with you people. You stick together and cover for each other, don't you?" The harshness in Miranda's tone and her blatant prejudice hit Clarice with a jolt. The accusation not only struck her as unjust, but also carried a racial bias that she was all too familiar with. The store, which had been filled with the usual hum of commerce, fell eerily silent, every shopper now intently focused on the unfolding drama. "This is absurd," Clarice said, striving to keep her voice steady and her composure intact. "We need to handle this matter with professionalism. Please follow me to the security room so we can review the surveillance footage." Despite her reasonable suggestion, Miranda insisted that the police be summoned immediately. After a brief, tense hesitation, Clarice reluctantly agreed, placing her faith in the hope that the truth would ultimately prevail. As they waited for the authorities to arrive, the store's atmosphere grew increasingly charged with a palpable sense of mistrust, with many customers casting wary glances in Clarice's direction. When the police finally arrived, the situation took a more distressing turn. With no concrete evidence and relying solely on Miranda's accusation, Clarice found herself taken into custody under suspicion of theft. The cold, harsh grip of the handcuffs around her wrists was a painful reminder of the injustice she was facing, driven entirely by baseless prejudice. As she was escorted to the police station, Clarice walked with her head held high, her mind racing with strategies to clear her name. She knew that her husband, Dr. Ethan Johnson, a prominent figure in the community, could serve as a powerful ally, but she opted to keep their connection undisclosed for the moment, hoping that the unvarnished truth alone would suffice to exonerate her. At the police station, Clarice was met with a chilly reception and an air of suspicion. The interrogation was intense and accusatory, with officers implying that she might be entangled in a broader criminal network. Despite the harsh treatment, Clarice maintained her composure, calmly answering every question and firmly denying any wrongdoing. Meanwhile, word of Clarice's arrest quickly spread beyond the walls of the police station. Sensationalist journalists, ever on the lookout for a gripping story, seized on the case with fervor. The narrative of a black woman wrongly accused of theft in an upscale store captured the public's attention, amplifying the story's impact and drawing scrutiny to the injustices she faced. Ethan was attending a prestigious medical conference in New York when he received the distressing news that would alter his plans drastically. The urgency of the situation became immediately clear, compelling him to abandon the conference and book the earliest flight back to Washington, D.C. He understood that his presence was crucial not just for providing emotional support, but for leveraging his influence and resources to assist his wife in the dire circumstances she faced. The gravity of the situation was not lost on him, and he felt a profound sense of responsibility to be by her side. As Ethan hurriedly made his way to the police station, his mind was consumed with thoughts of Clarice. Back at the station, Clarice was waiting in a state of anxious anticipation. Despite the grim situation, there was a glimmer of hope in her heart, buoyed by the knowledge that Ethan was doing everything within his power to support her. The thought of not facing this ordeal alone was a source of comfort amidst her turmoil. Upon his arrival at the police station, Ethan's demeanor was one of unwavering resolve. His experiences equipped him with a deep understanding of the American justice system, including its flaws and the prejudices that still lurked within many of its institutions. The sight of Clarice, being escorted away in handcuffs, and the realization of the injustice she was enduring ignited a fire within him, a potent mix of anger and an unyielding determination to uncover the truth. His presence commanded respect and attention as soon as he walked through the door. Ethan was not merely a renowned physician, he was also a highly respected public figure whose contributions to the field of medicine had earned him considerable influence. Without needing to raise his voice, Ethan made it clear that he demanded justice and respect for his wife. His authoritative yet composed demeanor spoke volumes, and the officers, well aware of his reputation, responded with a mixture of deference and unease. With a firm but controlled tone, Ethan stated, "I want to see my wife now." One of the officers, visibly intimidated, directed him to the interrogation room where Clarice was being held. Entering the room, Ethan found Clarice seated, still restrained by handcuffs but maintaining a posture of dignity and defiance. Her gaze met his, and despite the chains that bound her, there was a fire in her eyes that reflected her inner strength. Ethan approached her, kneeling beside her chair with a tenderness that belied the intensity of the situation. "Clarice, my love," he said softly, his voice carrying the weight of reassurance and unwavering commitment. "I'm here. We're going to get through this together." Clarice's response was a smile, one that conveyed a depth of emotion and resilience far beyond what words could express. This smile, filled with courage and gratitude, affirmed Ethan's belief in her strength. It was a moment of silent yet powerful connection, reinforcing the bond that had always sustained them through challenges. Ethan's love for her, rooted in her strength and many other qualities, was reaffirmed in that pivotal moment of mutual support and resolve. "Ethan, "They have nothing against me except for that woman's word," Clarice said, her voice resolute and unyielding. "But this is about more than just a false accusation. It's about the systemic prejudice we face every single day." Ethan nodded in agreement, feeling the weight of her words. He understood that their struggle was not merely about disproving one false claim, but confronting a broader, deeply ingrained bias that often tainted the system's fairness. A few minutes later, Ethan's lawyer, Daniel Crawford, arrived. Daniel was widely recognized as one of the foremost attorneys in his field, known for his expertise in handling complex and high-stakes cases. His reputation for dedication to justice preceded him. He walked into the room with a sense of calm authority, greeted both Clarice and Ethan with a reassuring nod, and immediately began to scrutinize the details of the case. "Clarice, could you walk me through exactly what transpired in the store?" Daniel asked, his tone measured and professional. Clarice took a deep breath and recounted the sequence of events: the sudden and unfounded accusation from Miranda, the conspicuous absence of any supporting evidence, and the pervasive prejudice that seemed to taint every aspect of the situation. Daniel listened attentively, jotting down notes and beginning to formulate a strategy for their defense. "We'll start by obtaining the security camera footage from the store," Daniel said, his voice steady with determination. "Additionally, we'll need to gather testimonies from witnesses who can vouch for your character and conduct while at work." Ethan, understanding the gravity of their situation, began to mentally mobilize their network of contacts, aware that securing robust evidence would be crucial in their fight against this injustice. Meanwhile, the media circus outside continued to grow. Journalists crowded around the police station, eager for any scraps of information, while social media buzzed with polarized opinions. Some voices defended Clarice, arguing for her innocence, while others hastily condemned her, influenced by deeply rooted biases. Ethan and Daniel stepped out of the station to face the press. From a window, Clarice watched as her husband positioned himself in front of the throng of cameras and microphones. "My wife is innocent," Ethan declared, his voice resonating with unwavering conviction. "She is being wrongfully accused based solely on prejudice and a lack of evidence. I have faith in the justice system to rectify this matter, but more importantly, I believe in the truth, and the truth is that Clarice is not guilty of any crime." As journalists hurled questions in rapid succession, Ethan maintained his composure with remarkable poise, addressing only what was necessary. He knew that every statement made could sway public opinion and, consequently, impact the outcome of Clarice's trial. Inside the station, Clarice sat in anxious anticipation, a flicker of hope keeping her spirits buoyed. She was acutely aware that Ethan was putting forth every effort to assist her, and most reassuringly, she knew she wasn't facing this challenge alone. The ensuing days were a whirlwind of activity and tension. Ethan, Daniel, and their team of dedicated lawyers worked around the clock. They managed to secure a copy of the security footage from the store, only to discover that a crucial segment had been mysteriously erased. This revelation deepened their concerns, suggesting that someone might be deliberately attempting to frame Clarice. Undeterred, Ethan leveraged his extensive network of contacts to apply pressure on the store's administration, insisting on full cooperation. In a turn of events that offered a glimmer of hope, a sympathetic store employee, who had taken the precaution of saving an additional copy of the footage, came forward. This new recording unequivocally proved Clarice's innocence. It clearly showed that, contrary to Miranda Collins' claims, Clarice had been assisting another customer during the time of the alleged theft. Armed with this exonerating evidence, Daniel meticulously prepared Clarice's defense. In addition to the video evidence, several of Clarice's colleagues and loyal customers stepped forward to testify in her favor, vouching for her integrity and character. The trial quickly became a high-profile event, attracting considerable media attention. The courtroom buzzed with the presence of journalists, civil rights advocates, and an array of curious onlookers. Outside, demonstrations sprang up, with protesters demanding justice for Clarice and condemning the racial bias she had encountered. On the day of the trial, Clarice walked into the courtroom flanked by Ethan and Daniel. She felt a blend of nervousness and resolve as she prepared to confront the charges against her. Ethan held her hand, a gesture that provided both comfort and strength. As the trial commenced, the prosecutor relied solely on Miranda Collins' testimony, presenting a case that was both sparse and reliant on a single, potentially biased source. When it was the defense's turn, Daniel rose confidently to present their case. He showcased the newly uncovered security footage, which demonstrated Clarice's innocence. Alongside this, he called forth the character witnesses who spoke passionately about Clarice's honesty and professionalism. This presentation marked a pivotal moment in the trial, as it directly challenged the credibility of the accusations against her. Inside the station, Clarice sat in anxious anticipation, a flicker of hope keeping her spirits buoyed. She was acutely aware that Ethan was putting forth every effort to assist her, and most reassuringly, she knew she wasn't facing this challenge alone. The ensuing days were a whirlwind of activity and tension. Ethan, Daniel, and their team of dedicated lawyers worked around the clock. They managed to secure a copy of the security footage from the store, only to discover that a crucial segment had been mysteriously erased. This revelation deepened their concerns, suggesting that someone might be deliberately attempting to frame Clarice. Undeterred, Ethan leveraged his extensive network of contacts to apply pressure on the store's administration, insisting on full cooperation. In a turn of events that offered a glimmer of hope, a sympathetic store employee, who had taken the precaution of saving an additional copy of the footage, came forward. This new recording unequivocally proved Clarice's innocence. It clearly showed that, contrary to Miranda Collins' claims, Clarice had been assisting another customer during the time of the alleged theft. Armed with this exonerating evidence, Daniel meticulously prepared Clarice's defense. In addition to the video evidence, several of Clarice's colleagues and loyal customers stepped forward to testify in her favor, vouching for her integrity and character. The trial quickly became a high-profile event, attracting considerable media attention. The courtroom buzzed with the presence of journalists, civil rights advocates, and an array of curious onlookers. Outside, demonstrations sprang up, with protesters demanding justice for Clarice and condemning the racial bias she had encountered. On the day of the trial, Clarice walked into the courtroom flanked by Ethan and Daniel. She felt a blend of nervousness and resolve as she prepared to confront the charges against her. Ethan held her hand, a gesture that provided both comfort and strength. As the trial commenced, the prosecutor relied solely on Miranda Collins' testimony, presenting a case that was both sparse and reliant on a single, potentially biased source. When it was the defense's turn, Daniel rose confidently to present their case. He showcased the newly uncovered security footage, which demonstrated Clarice's innocence. Alongside this, he called forth the character witnesses who spoke passionately about Clarice's honesty and professionalism. This presentation marked a pivotal moment in the trial, as it directly challenged the credibility of the accusations against her. "This victory is not solely mine," Clarice declared with a firm, resolute voice. "It represents a triumph over prejudice and injustice. It stands as proof that when we unite, we possess the strength to confront and overcome the forces that seek to undermine us." As she spoke, Ethan stood by her side, his hand gently clasping hers. A mixture of pride and relief washed over him, recognizing the profound significance of their shared achievement. Yet, Ethan understood that their journey was far from over. The ordeal they had endured sparked within both of them a renewed sense of purpose and determination. In the days that followed, Clarice and Ethan continued to capture public attention, their story resonating deeply with many. They made a pivotal decision to channel their newfound influence and resources into establishing a foundation dedicated to aiding victims of injustice. This endeavor was driven by their desire to effect meaningful change and support others facing similar battles. The foundation quickly garnered widespread support, and Clarice emerged as a prominent advocate in the ongoing fight against racial prejudice. The luxury clothing store, facing mounting pressure from public opinion, and the formidable legal team representing Clarice, issued a formal public apology. They also offered substantial financial compensation, which Clarice chose to direct toward funding their newly established foundation. This act of redress not only helped to validate their cause but also provided crucial resources for their mission. As Clarice and Ethan immersed themselves in their new roles, their bond grew even stronger. The harrowing experience they had endured together became a catalyst for positive change, propelling them toward a future where they could make a tangible impact. Their dedication to helping others and advocating for justice transformed their trauma into a powerful force for good, guiding them as they worked tirelessly to make a difference in the lives of those who needed it most. With the foundation firmly established, Clarice and Ethan channeled their ordeal into a broader mission for justice and equality. The trauma they endured became a powerful catalyst for change. Their organization, now known as the Clarice Johnson Foundation, emerged as a beacon of hope, offering legal and psychological support to victims of prejudice and injustice. In addition to its direct support services, the foundation spearheaded awareness campaigns aimed at fostering racial equality and social justice. Clarice, whose story of resilience and triumph had captivated many, quickly became a prominent public figure. Her experiences and insights led to frequent invitations to speak at conferences and events dedicated to civil rights. Her powerful narrative of overcoming adversity and fighting back against systemic injustice inspired countless individuals, and she leveraged her platform to advocate for those who found themselves unable to voice their struggles. Ethan, while maintaining his role as a dedicated doctor, also became deeply involved in the foundation's activities. His focus on mental health and the well-being of victims of injustice complemented the foundation's mission. His medical expertise provided invaluable support to those coping with the psychological aftermath of prejudice and discrimination. One of the foundation's first major cases was that of Marcus Williams, a young black man who faced wrongful accusations of theft under circumstances eerily similar to Clarice's ordeal. Under the leadership of Daniel Crawford, the foundation's legal team conducted an exhaustive investigation into Marcus's case. Their efforts uncovered a disturbing scheme of police corruption, revealing that Marcus had been unfairly targeted. With the backing of Clarice and Ethan, they were able to clear Marcus's name and expose the corrupt practices within the local police force. This landmark case led to several arrests and triggered significant reforms within the police department, marking a substantial victory for justice. The success of Marcus Williams's case significantly bolstered the foundation's reputation and led to an influx of support and donations. Clarice and Ethan recognized that, despite the ongoing challenges, each victory was a meaningful step towards achieving a more just and equitable society. Their foundation continued to gain momentum, fueled by their unwavering commitment to their cause. During a prestigious awards ceremony honoring the foundation's contributions to social justice, Clarice delivered an emotional and heartfelt speech. Her words resonated deeply with the audience, reflecting the profound impact of their work and the enduring hope for a world where equality and fairness prevail. A little over a year ago, I found myself confined within the walls of a cell, burdened by accusations that were not only false but a gross miscarriage of justice. Today, I stand before you, surrounded by those who champion truth and fairness. Our journey is far from complete. Yet every stride we make brings us closer to a world where justice prevails. We must persevere, not just for our own sake but for every individual who endures daily injustices. As Clarice concluded her speech, a powerful standing ovation erupted in the hall. She could sense that her words reached far beyond the confines of the room, touching hearts and minds and igniting the passion of a new wave of activists and civil rights advocates. The foundation she had dedicated herself to continued to thrive, expanding its reach to various cities and states. Despite their relentless efforts, Clarice and Ethan also made sure to nurture their relationship, understanding that their unity was crucial to sustaining their mission. One serene afternoon, while strolling through a sunlit park, Ethan paused and gazed deeply into Clarice's eyes. "We've achieved so much, Clarice," he said, his voice filled with sincerity. "I couldn't have done any of this without you. You embody strength and courage in ways I never thought possible, and I'm incredibly proud to stand by your side." Clarice's face softened with a smile, touched by Ethan's heartfelt words. "I couldn't have done it without you either, Ethan. Our strength lies in our unity, and as long as we face challenges together, I'm confident that there's nothing we can't overcome." Over time, Clarice's harrowing experience was transformed into a powerful documentary that captivated audiences nationwide. The film, which chronicled Clarice and Ethan's relentless fight for justice, won several prestigious awards, further amplifying its reach and impact. The documentary not only illuminated the specifics of Clarice's case, but also shed light on other instances of systemic injustice and prejudice, thereby underscoring the vital work of the Clarice Johnson Foundation. This foundation, born out of their struggle, evolved into a beacon of resistance and hope, influencing countless lives and fostering a national dialogue on social justice and equality. With every individual they helped and every life they touched, Clarice and Ethan felt a profound sense of purpose, believing they were honoring the fight they had embarked upon together. Their efforts were transformative, not just for those directly involved, but for the broader societal fabric. The culmination of their advocacy came on a bright, sunny afternoon when Clarice and Ethan were honored at a prestigious ceremony held at the Capitol. The event was a significant recognition of their tireless contributions to social justice and racial equality. As they stood before a distinguished audience, the President of the United States took the stage to present Clarice with a special medal. Clarice Johnson. The President began, addressing the crowd with reverence. "You have turned your ordeal into a powerful force for the common good. Your unwavering dedication to justice and equality serves as a beacon of inspiration for us all. On behalf of the nation, I extend our deepest gratitude for your courage and your steadfast commitment to the truth." The ceremony marked not just a personal triumph for Clarice and Ethan, but also a national acknowledgement of their profound impact on advancing social justice and equality. As they received their honor, Clarice and Ethan reflected on their journey, feeling both humbled and invigorated by the recognition of their enduring efforts. Clarice accepted the medal with a blend of humility and a profound sense of accomplishment. The weight of the medal in her hands seemed to echo the significance of the journey she and Ethan had undertaken. As she glanced at Ethan, she saw the same emotion mirrored in his eyes, a deep, mutual understanding of the struggles they had endured and the victories they had achieved. Despite the recognition and success of this moment, they both knew that their mission was far from complete. There remained much work to be done, and their resolve to continue the fight for justice was unwavering. As the sun dipped below the horizon of Washington, D.C., casting a warm, golden hue over the city, Clarice and Ethan walked hand in hand. The sunset symbolized a new chapter in their lives, a chapter marked by their dedication to making a meaningful impact on the world. They were ready to face whatever challenges the future might bring, armed with the strength and unity forged through their trials. The pain they had experienced had been transformed into a powerful sense of purpose, driving them forward in their quest for a more just and equitable society. In the public eye, Clarice Johnson, once unjustly accused of theft, had become a beacon of resistance and hope. Her journey had evolved into a testament to the enduring power of truth and justice. Through her unwavering fight against wrongful accusations and racial prejudice, Clarice illustrated that, even in the face of adversity, standing up for what is right can lead to profound change and inspire others to do the same. In reflecting on Clarice's remarkable journey, we see a narrative rich with resilience, courage, and justice. Her story not only underscores the difficulties of confronting and overcoming injustice, but also serves as a powerful reminder of the transformative impact of standing firm in the pursuit of fairness and equality. What have you learned from this inspiring tale? How can you apply these lessons in your own life to make a difference? We invite you to share your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know one key lesson you've taken away and how you plan to implement it. If this video resonated with you, please leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your support helps us bring more stories of courage and change to light.